I share what I'm listening to and my thoughts on music and the business daily for free at helloyassine.com. What's poppin', y'all? Ye has just come back and he's been going on some crazy rants, but I actually want to tie this most recent one into a topic that I felt got glossed over a little bit. So number one, he's just coming back and says, no one seems to want to produce me whittle t-shirt. I keep seeing white because it's a white t-shirt, and he's talking about the t-shirt that has that emblem on it that got him taken down from Shopify. And then he talks about, my last Twitter rampage was 90% Drew proof. One of the tweets that I really want to focus on is, real friends let friends drive drunk. Dude's on a tear. Insanity. But what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? Because you have Ye and none other than Lyor Cohen. So in the last rant that Ye did before he deactivated his X account and reactivated it, an individual that is, if you had a horseshoe, right? Or if you had a coin, two sides of the same coin, it would be Lyor Cohen and Ye at this moment. And just two people incapable of reading the room. So what Lyor Cohen does is, in a Hollywood Reporter, he sends out an article and says, "Dear Kanye," saying the wrong name, of course, "I'm deeply disappointed and troubled by your recent actions involving the use of symbols and anti-rhetoric. Your words and actions are not only offensive but triggering to all decent people who recognize the horrors of what happened in the 1930s and the suffering of millions. With anti on the rise, your voice and influence carry a significant responsibility. I urge you to be more sensitive to the pain your words inflict on Jewish communities and all those who stand against hate." Now, this fool, I would say Lyor Cohen is one of the manifestations of evil on this earth. And it's like, the guy, he never knows what to say, and I think it's so jarring to me because Lyor Cohen is a hip-hop legend. Lyor Cohen was instrumental in hip-hop getting to the commercial success that it did, regardless of if you like him or not. And from what I've seen of the guy, I'm not too fond of him, to be honest. But I have to give him that legend stamp. There's a thing between liking and respecting, and by God, do I respect Lyor Cohen. But also, I can understand the fact that this guy's, not only is he a nut, he's so detached from everyone else in the world. Because if you guys remember, years ago, there was a similar incident. They didn't go as crazy as Ye, but if you guys remember Public Enemy, one of the OG hip-hop groups, Richard Griffin, Professor Griff, made some certain statements, and those statements were a lot more softball than what Ye has been on. But Lyor Cohen flexed that he was at Def Jam at this point, he had arranged for them to visit the Simon Wiesenthal Center for a private tour. It's a Holocaust museum. And he was basically dragging them along like, hey, you did wrong. Like, just doing what Lyor Cohen would do. It's like, hey, you know you did wrong, right? And then he flexes this in an interview later on as well. Regardless, Ye comes back at Lyor Cohen. And he says the following: "Lyor, let me call you by your incorrect name also. You and your whole industry have promoted and got paid off songs where black people glorify killing each other. But my t-shirt is the worst thing ever. All of y'all are like girls who don't take accountability. It's a double standard. Then y'all threaten and extort people around me. People are so used to your mob. And to think, when Tory Burch came to the door with a towel on, I didn't smash because I looked at you as a friend." Damn, that's cold right there. "You start by apologizing and taking accountability for the massive promotion of Black Death that you've got paid off for years. Also, you too broke to speak to me in the first place. And you know what Irv said to you before he passed, and since he not here, I'll say it. SMD. So for some context here, if you guys don't know who Tory Burch is, she's a designer, and she was involved with Lyor Cohen for a period of time. She was his ex-girlfriend. This is just like rich people stuff. Tory Burch was born rich. Lyor Cohen claims he had to make it. It is what it is. He did get it. He did get hip-hop out the mud. I don't know if he got himself out the mud. But Lyor Cohen, infamously, in an interview with The Breakfast Club, I'll see if I could play you guys the clip. But in that interview, he says, man, I hate lean. I hate this promethazine. I hate this drug culture. If I'm with a rapper and he's in the studio and they're doing drugs, I point that out to them. I tell them, why are you doing that? I don't want that around me. And then, surprisingly, Charlemagne responds surprisingly. I'm not saying that what Charlemagne said was surprising. He says, well, these guys rap about the stuff. You got no problem making money off of that. He's like, well, I got to feed my family.
I don't know what's this opioid thing, man.
Well, being a crackhead wasn't cool back then. Being a crackhead wasn't cool. Now they seem like they're making it cool to be drinking lean and syrup and
it's the most dangerous. It's the most dangerous thing that's facing our society.
So why sign an artist that would promote that?
Because I already answered that question. You weren't paying attention. She asked me talent or issues, and I said talent. But I have to. I can't give up on people.
But I'm saying that's hypocritical, though. You're saying
it's opportunistic. Yeah. I got people to feed.
I don't know. Lyor could be feeding his family Michelin star meals for the next 3 centuries. Now, what does he mean feed his family? But it just goes to show you, and he said this so confidently, like the amount of tiptoeing that they did it's a legendary interview. I'd say it's one of, there's the Lyor, if someone's going to ask me 3 Breakfast Club interviews, I'm saying Lyor Cohen interview, Birdman doesn't count because it wasn't a full interview, so I'm going to say 6ix9ine interview, and there's one more that's escaping my mind. Oh, the OG Pause interview. Come on, man. You guys know what it is. Those are the 3 if I had to choose. For me personally, those are my picks. So he's just in there the entire time with such hubris. And then for him to come out at a time like this and go at Ye, it's not that what Lyor Cohen said was wrong. It's that he's the wrong person to say it. Like, get somebody that's actually favorable. Lyor Cohen sold 300. You know who was also on 300 that Lyor Cohen signed? Young Thug. The destruction that Young Thug has caused. I mean, hey, he took the plea. What he's propagated, and he made a bag off of it and went his merry way and left hip-hop now to go to YouTube years ago. But he left the record industry at the right time. He's just such a genius when it comes to identifying trends in the marketplace and capitalizing on them. But that genius falls to the wayside when it comes to dealing with people. But hey, I guess you don't really got to deal with people when your job and money and income doesn't correlate to how well people perceive you or how much people like you, which is the con of being an artist or a public figure, hell, even an actor at times. So Ye continues on this rant that he just went in on yesterday, and then he says, my last Twitter rampage was 90% Jew-proof. What does it mean to be proof? Well, 2 years ago I tweeted DEFCON 3. I'm sure no one remembers that. And he just goes on and on to say that, yeah, they tried to hold me back. I went to Japan and I felt liberated because I saw this symbol and it was normal out here. And I'm just like, man, Ye is a perpetual, not victim, because Ye doesn't have a victim mindset, but he wants to be the underdog, and he will position himself as the underdog in perpetuity. Like, the guy's worth multiple billions of dollars. If we're to take the numbers correctly, 2.7 billion, you're worth more than Jay, you're worth more than Lyor Cohen, you're worth more than all of these people. So you've surpassed all of them. Now, power, that's a different story. Influence, Ye has more of it. But collectively, people that may be against Ye's interests, they do have more power than him. So he'll just use that to position himself as the underdog. And some people buy it, but I think it's waning right now. And people are waiting on the music. Like, they only give him a bypass for so much BS for so long before they're like, all right, man, we've dealt with enough rants. It's like we're seeing the last time I've seen Ye like this is, I would say, the St. Pablo tour. Because people will say, oh, no, like 2 years ago when he was on Ye 24, he was like this. No, he wasn't. He knew what he was doing there. It was a lot calmer. There was less ego involved. He had actually been taking real hits. Like, he wasn't on a high. He was taking real hits. So it's a little bit sobering. Like, at the St. Pablo tour, he was on a high. Like, The Life of Pablo was a huge success. So when there's massive, massive success, it's kind of like Fousey, if we're keeping it a bug. Fousey is kind of like Ye in that sense. The more success and fame and attention and money that they get for doing what they're doing, the more they spin out of control. And usually when they're down and out is when they're the most reasonable and sensible. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Do you think Lyor Cohen's a hip-hop legend or not? Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Go to helloyassine.com. Thank you for watching. Peace.